Hey everybody, future beekeeper here. Future beekeeper. Yeah? You gonna raise bees? Hey everybody.
Hey gang, I have here in my hands 100% pure, raw, double sieved, unpasteurized, true golden nectar of the gods. This is honey. Today I'm going to introduce you to one of my dabbles, beekeeping. I've been into this beekeeping dabble for about 4 years now. Unfortunately, a couple weeks ago I went out to check my hives and they have all decided to find a new home. But that gives me an opportunity to introduce you guys to this dabble as I start over. So I'm your host, Chris Cottrell, and you're watching The Dabbler's Den. I understand that a lot of people are very scared of really anything with a stinger, including bees. But I'm here to tell you that bees are some of the most gentle insects that you will ever come across. Yes, if they have to protect their queen and protect their hive, they will resort to stinging. But you have to keep in mind that when a bee stings an animal, stings something else, the stinger will actually hook into that other person's body. And when the bee flies away, it will literally, stay behind and take out most of her insides. So it's a terrible way to go. So bees, they prefer not to have to sting something. Now, most people that do get stung, it's usually because they get a bee stuck, in a crease of their arm, or they accidentally grip onto it, and the bee really has no choice. It's kind of, a last resort for that bee. I've had my hive, again, for 4 years, and I have never been stung once. I did mention that my bees were really strong. They were producing lots of honey. I have some pictures of that I'll put right here. But they up and decided to leave. The reason I think what happened is that the queen, when the queen comes, they clip her wings so that she can't fly away. Basically, so that she stays with the hive that you create for her. And all the worker bees will stay. They know that that's their queen. They stay with the queen. So as long as she can't fly away, the hive will stay right where it's at. And that's one of the ways that beekeepers, keep a really good hive or get it going and get it going good and strong. I noticed this summer though that there were quite a few bees. And when I say quite a few, I'm talking like tens of thousands of bees hanging around outside the hive. I got a little worried that they were getting ready to split. I decided to go ahead and harvest honey the next day, which I did. I got lots of honey this year. But I have a feeling that when the bees realize that the queen is on her way out, they will actually make a new queen. I think a new queen was on the way, and she has wings, and so she decided to take off and find a new home, took half the bees with her, and then my queen died. If the queen is gone and there is predators on the way, then the rest of the bees will split too. So I think that's what happened this year. But again, that gives me a great opportunity to start over and take you guys along with me as I start over. So let me begin by showing you some of the equipment. First of all, one thing that I think every single beekeeper should have, and most probably do have, even some of the most experienced beekeepers, have probably all started off with a book just like this, Beekeeping for Dummies. Dummy included right here. So this book right here, I mean, really does a good job of taking you through the entire process of start to finish. And you know, nobody should just go into something like this blindfolded. Another piece of equipment that I think all bee farmers should have, a hat with a veil. You know, they obviously sell whole entire bee suits. You know, if you need to make sure that you don't get stung, gloves, the whole 9 yards. As long as they don't get by my face, I'm fine. You know, I don't care if they land on my hands. I don't care if they land on my arm. I will wear long sleeves and you know, some pants, things like that. One of the first times I opened my hive, I was wearing shorts, and about halfway through it, I thought, this probably isn't a good idea. But this is all that I have really extra as far as clothing for beekeeping. And again, it's got a veil. I can see through this. Because I live in South Georgia, it's really hot. I wanted to make sure that I got something that has ventilation. Another really important piece of equipment is a smoker. When bees sense smoke, or when you open the hive and you blow some smoke on them, they automatically assume forest fire, and they quickly go into defend the queen mode, or not necessarily defend the queen mode, but defend the hive. They go deep down into the hive, into the core of the hive, so that if a fire did sweep over the actual beehive itself, you know, the bees would take the brunt of it, and the queen could possibly survive. So, you know, very loyal, very loyal. So anyways, you blow some smoke on them, and they instantly go into this mode where they go deep into the hive, and they start to gouge or gorge as much honey as they can, in case they have to leave, in case their hive is ruined and they have to go somewhere else. So you're kind of tricking them, and it's kind of a neat thing to do. So anyways, you take this. I like to fill it with like grass and you know, natural things. I don't like to use a lot of like pocket lint and stuff because there might be chemicals, but grass. I've used wood chips. I'll buy like hickory chips that you would use for smoking and barbecuing. I'd load those in there. And because I don't like to spend a lot of time out there in the heat with bees flying all around me, I started using a little torch. This is a self-power torch. I click the button there, flames come out, I get the fire started, and my smoker's ready to go. So very, very quick. A couple other pieces of equipment that I have, and these I did buy from a bee company. However, you don't have to. These are things that you can buy you know, at any hardware store. One of them is the bee tool, and really it's just a crowbar. It does have a flat edge so that you can get into the hive, you know, get in there and pry apart some of the frames. I'll show you what a frame is. Once the bees start creating comb and creating honey, they really start to seal any little gap with wax, and it can be very difficult to get the hive open. So having something to pry the top off and to pry the different frames apart is really important. So whether it be an actual bee tool like this or just a small crowbar, as long as it works, I don't see any reason why this wouldn't work. This is another important piece of equipment to have. It's just a brush. It's a very soft bristled brush. Because once you get it open, you want to get to those frames, you blow the smoke on them. You know, as many of them as possible will go down into the hive, and then you just kind of brush off the rest of them, and very lightly. You know, you don't want to bang them, you don't want to hurt them, but they, you know, very, very gently brush them away so that you don't have to bring them inside or anything like that. Again, I bought this from a bee company. But you can find anything like this, any kind of brush. I have a brush in my truck that I use to sweep out the floor. Very soft bristle, just like this. I see no reason why that wouldn't work. So, you know, again, you don't have to order everything from a bee company, but you know, these right here are real important. And that's really it. That's all that I have really for basic equipment to go out beekeeping. Let me take you outside and show you the rest of the equipment. Okay, so here we are with the rest of the beehive. First thing, these two are actually two separate parts. This is a hive base, and this is a screened bottom for the hive. You actually put the supers, which are the bee boxes, on top of these. Having a screen is pretty important here in South Georgia. It gets really hot. So having some sort of ventilation, the bees actually do a really good job. They use their wings to actually draw air from the bottom up through the beehive to keep everybody cool. They do an amazing job of doing that. There's days where I can't believe that they can actually cool the beehive the way that they do. Oftentimes you'll actually see them sitting along the edge here, just flapping away, drawing heat away from the hive. So amazing creatures. These are individual frames. Each one of these obviously is for the bees to draw honeycomb on. They build up the wax first before they start to fill it in with nectar and pollen and things that they find out in the wild. They bring it back here and they fill them up. Luckily, I still have wax in most of my combs or most of my frames. My plan is to freeze these to make sure that there's no bugs or any other kind of pests in there. Use compressed air to blow it all out, and then hopefully I could put these into a Nook box, which is kind of like a portable bee box, and use those as swarm traps. So hopefully bees will move right in here. It's one step they don't have to worry about, and they can get right to making honey. Again, that's the plan. We'll see how it works. So here's a standard. This is actually a medium-sized bee box. And for the type of hive that I have, it's actually called a garden hive. They are all standard. Oftentimes you'll find beekeepers that have a really large box on the bottom to protect the brood, which is where the queen lays all the eggs. But for these garden hives, they're all the same size to make it more manageable. I mean, I'm just a backyard beekeeper, so they're all the same size. I can order them from just about anywhere, and they just fit right on top. Just right on top here, and they are ready to go. And this cap right here will go on top. The cap, I like to keep the gap side on the top. It'll sit just like this. If any bees come in through this hole right here, they can actually escape out of the hive this way. So it's just another entrance or an exit for bees to get stuck in there. So that would go on top like that. And this is the lid. Again, this is kind of what separates this from a standard bee box. This is what makes it a garden hive. This is a copper top. I could polish this and make it real shiny, or I can go with a more patina look. That's kind of what I'm going with here. But this just goes right on top and makes it look pretty. It's it's a pretty bee box. You have 3 or 4 of these supers stacked on top of it, and it's a good looking box. Looks great in the garden, looks great in my backyard. So that's pretty much it. So those are the basic components. Again, you got the top, you've got the supers, the baseboard, and the frames. So there you have it. There you go. Any gaps that are in here, the bees will seal up with wax, and it's good. I mean, I haven't had any problems with them until they all decided to take off. So, but again, that gives me an opportunity to start over and show you guys the whole process, and hopefully talk a few of you into being backyard beekeepers as well. Again, any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Feel free to send me an email, dabblers.den@gmail.com. We've got a Facebook page, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. So there you go, backyard beekeeping.
Thank you for watching this snapshot of one of my life's many adventures. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This channel is a work in progress, so I would appreciate constructive feedback and suggestions in the comments below. Once again, I'm Chris Cottrell. You've been watching The Dabbler's Den, and bottom line, YouTubers, just get out there and do something.